Oh my gosh. Are we on?
Yeah.
We're on.
Yeah, we just do it. That's the way to do
Well,
it.
wait, turn it off. Can we turn it off?
No, oh, we can turn it off. Wait,
I
look
mean,
at your hair.
yeah, my hair's
You're
terrible.
fine. You look lovely. Hey, Henry McClure live.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
just doing what I do. I promise to ask good questions. I actually like interviewing people. You know why?
What is that?
Because I learned something. I had Spencer Duncan in it here the other day, and I learned something from him the other day.
You did.
Yeah, sometimes when I listen, but you want to know who's listening. Well, here, say hi. This is Janlin.
Hi.
When did we meet? Did we meet at St. David's?
I'm not sure, but I have known you since I moved here.
And when
You
did you
know,
move here?
I moved here in 2004, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. But I think we met at St. David's
We may have.
at church.
Yeah, we may have.
And that's a connection I have with St. David or with Spencer,
Yeah.
the Duncan family. Yeah. So you moved here from where?
From the Seattle, Washington metro area.
What was it like back then?
Oh, it was beautiful. My husband was crazy and didn't like it because it was the weather is kind of
It
weird.
ho hummed him into
He was
depression.
Yeah, but I loved it because we moved there from Houston, so I was used to a lot of sunlight and warm weather and all that, and it was just too much. We lived in the metro area, and you know, moved to the Seattle metro area, a little further north, and it was beautiful. It would
Hey, can I get you a water or anything?
water would be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna get her. Just say hello. Talk about your business or something. Talk about whatever you want.
I will talk about whatever I want. I so we moved here from the Seattle metro area. I loved Seattle. It was just absolutely great. A lot of wildlife and things I'd never ever seen before. So, I was a tourist there for a long, long time. And
There you go.
thank you. This is fancy.
Yeah, Dr. Gundry recommends this. I am a disciple of Dr. Gundry,
Are you?
and now I'm actually an ambassador of Dr. Gundry.
This is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It's better in bottles.
This is wonderful.
He says you got to get rid of plastic.
Plastic's killing us. Lots of stuff is killing us.
It is. Plastic they're saying there's babies that are born that have plastic in them already.
Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, and it's all about like take Tupperware
Mm-hmm.
and you put hot food in it, it activates that plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Then you consume it, and then there it goes.
Yeah. We are a nation that has created ourselves a coffin, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they it's like okay, we're gonna keep people sick so we can treat them.
Well, and that's kind of the plan,
Yeah.
from Big Pharma. That's totally the plan. And it's so disappointing, because it's
Well,
just
anyway,
disappointing.
are you adjusting to just like I just kind of like to jump into things,
Oh, yeah, I'm adjusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but just relax.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So now, can we talk a little business about why you moved here and what you did, or
Yeah.
do you want to jump right into stem cells?
Oh, no, we can talk. Let's kind of lay the groundwork.
Well,
That'd
what
be
I
fine.
wanted to know, I wanted to talk to you about working for the MTAA. Isn't that where you had it? Was that your first job when you moved here?
Yeah, Topeka Metro.
Okay. So you didn't move here for that job?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
They
you
recruited
did.
me to come in for that job, and so that is why we moved here.
Here, say something. I want to see.
Okay.
Okay, your
I'm
mic's
good.
working good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Um,
anyway, yes, that's why we moved here. Is for this job. I was recruited I was vice president of transportation management in the Seattle metro area.
how big is that? Just curious.
Well, you know, the transit system was about 190 million at that time. I'm sure it's so much more now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, the asset was, somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 million. So My part was about 75 million. So it was big, and I was there for 5 years. They had there was a position that was created for me. They recruited me from Houston Metro, and that's why I moved to the Seattle Metro area. To
So you know the Metro gig.
Oh yeah,
That's your thing.
that is my thing.
All right.
And I was at Topeka Metro for 8 years.
And then it seems like you got, I hate to say it, you got Topeka'd.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There were some things, weird things that went on with the board, and
Jim Ogle was on the board then, right?
mhm,
And then later on, he ended up losing his job at WWW.
yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. But there were some things that went on that were, um, you know, when you're in a job like that, you are accountable to the people.
Right.
Not really, I mean, yes, to the board, but you're accountable to the people that are the taxpayers and that use the system.
Well, and so I think it's almost like, well, wait a minute. The board is more accountable to the people than anything. That's what I say.
The board that hired me was, without a doubt, the most they had, in my opinion, without a doubt, one of the most integrity filled missions that any board since then has had. And I say that because they had been in place for, there were some long time people.
Right, right.
Nita Jeffas, Pat Hubble, Jack Alexander, Jim
Oh, I love
Daniels.
Jack.
Wasn't he great?
Yeah.
Wasn't he great?
I like that dude.
Well, he's gone now.
No, I know. Well, he's with us. Depends on what you believe in.
That's true. That's true. But
I believe that a bishop didn't speak for all Episcopalians. I'll tell you that.
I believe that too. But anyway, they were wonderful, and they had, they wanted to make sure that Topeka Metro was accountable to the people that we served, and
And you also are a taxing authority too, aren't you?
we were.
You
Yeah.
were, but
Yeah.
not now.
Well, I mean, I'm not with them anymore.
Well, I know,
but
but
yes, absolutely. I mean, um, it
so
was
what was your budget there? Just curious.
11, 10, 11
Million.
million, something like that. I mean, not a lot. I don't remember because it's been a long time.
That's okay.
But we went through a deal.
But a lot of water over the dam since then.
Yeah, well, we went through a time where our budget was really in the tank because that's what happened back in the day. Because it was we were in a kind of a recession, this is like 2010, 11. I mean, things started getting tight. Prices were high. We were under it was tough. And the city stepped in and kind of changed some things to help, but it made it look, although we had clean audits the entire time I was there. I mean, the FTA never found anything that had a question mark. But when the city came in and started changing things, the media didn't see that as something that was good and trying to, you know, shift and create a situation to support the people that actually use the system. They
So
saw that
you didn't get good media coverage.
not at all, and
Okay.
that kind of started the ball rolling, and then the board changed, which was disappointing. And
Now was that when did Ogle come and go? Was he on it
Mm.
when you started?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No,
Well,
he was
because
at
one
it.
person can be a sour,
Yeah. Well, I ended up having a vendor that we had fired
right?
to join the board, and then we had a
Well, that
That's a
doesn't
problem.
work. Who appointed that guy?
someone from the city,
Okay.
and then we had an employee.
And if this is like pulling fingernails out of here, we
No,
don't need
it's
to
just
talk
okay. And
about it.
we had an employee that had also been terminated. under very suspicious circumstances, and she ended up joining the board.
Oh
So
my!
it was a mess.
So there's 2 strikes.
Yeah, and that's a hard hill to climb. But I climbed what I could, and you know what? It was it
Man,
was time to move, and God uh, took me out of that terrible toxic situation, and we have my husband and I have a thriving business
and
now,
then
and it's
Susan
wonderful.
Duffy came in.
Yeah, and she got to, she came into a very well-oiled machine with great employees. I mean,
But none of the baggage from the fired vendor and the terminated employee.
they left so that they could apply for the job that I had left. So weird stuff.
Anyway, so where were you born? Just
New Orleans,
New Orleans.
Nolan.
I like it down there.
Oh, me too.
Jefferson made a good deal with us Frenchies. No, that's an interesting town. We had a convention there in 1985 for the
Mhm.
shopping center convention.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, it was cool. And so, have you ever heard of the name Mel Simon?
No.
Well, Mel,
Yes.
yeah,
I mean, he was one of the ones that developed
he
the
developed
Simon
Westridge.
properties.
Yeah, Herb and Mel.
Yeah.
They're brothers.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and they were characters. They were cool, but they bought like a 40,000 square foot building right across from the convention center, and that was their convention center.
Oh,
Yeah, so they turned it into hot and cold running jazz club,
don't
and
you
then,
love that?
yeah, and then they had their meetings back there, and that was back when the mall business was really good.
Hmm.
So let's just learn something real quick. So New Orleans to where?
To Longview, Texas.
Now how'd you do that?
I was adopted. My mom
Really?
and dad lived in, yeah. So New Orleans, just to report, to Houston, to Longview.
Now
where I
how
really
old were
grew
you
up.
when you were in Shreveport?
Probably 5 months old,
Oh
6 months
wow.
old.
So you're
Still
just a
little.
baby. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just a baby. So, and then my dad worked at Eastman Kodak, so we lived in the Longview.
Now the adopted father.
Yeah, I mean he's
That's your dad.
that's my dad.
Yeah, I got it.
Both my mom
I've
and
adopted a lot of dads. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of different people uh, look, I've gotten a lot of good influence.
Mhm.
My mom and dad adopted 3 kids before they had me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, no, the adopted kids will never say this, but I, I thought my parents treated everybody equal.
Hmm.
Everybody else says I was spoiled, rotten brat, and I probably believe that. But my mom wanted to have kids really bad,
Hmm.
and they were married 20 years before I came along.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so that's why I like going to Grace Cathedral
Hmm.
because there are prayers stuck in those walls for me.
Hmm.
They the bishop asked my dad to form St. David's.
Hmm.
He was a lawyer for the diocese.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I'll show you a picture after the show. My grandfather in front of Grace Cathedral in 1919.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just connecting the dots about creating a common thread
Sure.
that we've had being Episcopalians.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went. So you're out in Longview,
Yes.
and then where'd we go?
Went to Stephen F. Austin State University.
Okay, you're in college
in
now. What'd you study?
Natchitoches. Speech, English and speech communications.
All right.
So I can write a good paper and I can talk about it.
I'd rather talk about it.
So anyway,
I get caught every once in a while because I'll like get on and dictate like let's say 300 words, and then I'll copy and paste it, cut it onto AI, and then I'll say,
let them clean it up.
yeah, give me 350 words, and it gets all organized. And well, that's what I wanted to say, and it works. Okay, so then when did you meet Angus?
I met him about 27 years ago.
Okay.
In Houston, at a big ball that we were at, and there were about 3,000 people there. And he was tall and handsome and had that mustache and kind of had
He's a
that
cool
thing.
dude.
He's a cool dude.
I don't. I like him in his kilt. I mean, not good. He's got. It just. I mean, any man. I mean, I'm Scotch.
He's he's got a utility kilt that he sometimes
What's
wears.
that? Utila kilt.
Well, it's a kilt that doesn't have a plaid. It's kind of a work
Oh,
thing.
okay.
So very cute.
Well, I've seen him in this kilt. I think it's manly. Tell you the truth.
I think it's pretty manly
Yeah,
myself.
it's not a dress. It's a kilt.
Yeah. And my daughter, when she was young, she had her little kilt, and they would be twins. It was
Oh, that's cute. I love
very,
that.
very cute. So,
All right. So, okay, that's
just
a little background. Now let's.
yes.
You know what's wild is I've been talking about stem cells, and there were actually some people that wanted to tune in
Hmm.
and talk about stem cells, and so I'm fascinated by the concept of stem cells. But it's shown up on my social media on my phone. I've got a thing over here uh, that Amazon makes, the
Hmm.
Alexa
Yeah.
app. You know,
Man, they listen.
they're listening.
They're telling you. I mean, yeah.
So, but So, where do we want to start this journey, this part of the conversation?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about what happened
Okay.
so that we can kind of get into,
Yeah. How did we get here? That was
well,
the first part of the interview.
yeah. Um, so my husband and I have a small business. It's pretty,
Okay.
we run an executive car service. We have, a lot of, different high end, advisors, Excel, security benefit, some of those big Hills Pet, those big companies.
Back and forth to the airport,
To the airport, we do events, a lot of
meetings
events.
in Kansas City, maybe, or
Yeah.
something,
And,
whatever.
point to point, pick up at the Cyrus, drop off at a specified location, that kind of thing. And we've done that for going on 13 years. Um, and we went through COVID. Okay, so that's important. I had a place in my mouth that a failed root canal.
Right.
My dentist said, we just need to extract that and then we'll do an implant. And I was just like, ugh, I don't want to do that, but I needed to. So anyway, I had the tooth extracted, and that happens. And so I thought, we'll get it done. And we were busy, and I needed for it to heal so that the implant had, I mean, there's a specified, piece of time that you wait before you do your implant. And then COVID happened, and everything was shut down. And so I had a lot of time for this thing to heal. But the place where my tooth was extracted
Never
always
healed.
felt weird.
Right.
It felt like sandpaper. And finally, things started opening up again. It's about 2 years later. Finally, go back to the dentist, and I'm like, he was like, okay, this is good. He did cleanings and all that. And I said, what is this? And he said, yeah, that's where your tooth was extracted. I said, but it's like sandpaper. He said, you know what? Let's just wait and let it clear up, and then we'll go ahead
But
and
this
move
is 2 years
forward.
later,
Two years later.
and the sandpaper ain't gone away, and sandpaper in your mouth. Hey, dude, it ain't clearing up.
It's not clearing up.
Right.
So anyway, I
Were you
thought,
feeling all that?
was I feeling?
All that.
Yeah, I felt it all.
Okay.
So I was just like, this is not right.
Right.
Something's
Right.
wrong. And I went back to him about 3 months later, and I was like, look, this is really bothering me. Something's not right. And he said, well, I think we should watch it, And I was just like, I'm going to watch something with a different dentist. So I went to a different dentist. And they did this whole thing, where they work, the whole workup. because they do their, each dentist does their whole, well, we got to have x-rays, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, my gosh, how much money am I going to have to spend to figure out what the sandpaper is? This dentist said, I think that there's nothing wrong. I think we should just watch it. And I was like, okay, let's just watch it. And I just became, you know,
So even though you got a second opinion, you ain't buying it.
no, something was wrong. I could
So now,
tell.
how long is this now? How long?
We're probably at a 3-year mark.
Okay.
So finally, 6 months later, I go back to this new dentist and I'm like, something is happening. It's starting to feel kind of like cauliflower or something. So anyway, he was just
Oh,
like, oh, it's
so
going
now
to.
you're telling me the sandpaper is growing into cauliflower.
Well, and it wasn't big.
No, I
I got
get
to
it,
admit,
but
it
like
was. I could tell. My tongue
in
could
your
tell.
mouth,
Yeah.
it's a very sensitive place.
Yeah. And he kind of blew me off and all of that. And I was, you know. So anyway, I thought, you know what? This is a bunch of. So I did a self referral to a periodontist thinking that a gum person would be able to tell me because it was on my gum. I
Right.
didn't know. Went to him. He said, oh, it's an HPV. I'm just like, uh, I've been married for, 25 years. I don't quite understand. And he said, well, I don't know, but that's what it looks like. And we just need to watch it. And I was just like, this
Oh
is
shit.
just unbelievable. So I thought, I need to get out of Topeka. And by this time, it's about 4 years. I went to a dentist in Overland Park
Right.
for them to say the same thing. We need to watch it. And I was horrible to that dentist. And I said, look, something is not
No,
right.
no, no. Hang on a second here. You were just telling him the truth, but you think you were horrible?
Well, I was kind of animated about it. And I said, look,
He was shorter than you.
but I was laying down in that chair, so it didn't matter.
It did too. It's ego.
So I was just like, look, this is not right. Something is wrong. I don't understand. And I want you to refer me to someone who can do a biopsy. And he was just like, well, I mean, we can help you, but we don't typically refer unless there is something that, gives me a reason to pause. And this doesn't. I was just like, this is a bunch of crap. I went to get a biopsy, and this was on a Friday, and it was not a picnic, let me tell you, because, they did a
So he
biopsy.
finally gave you the referral, or
Well, he
or
told me who to call. He
okay.
didn't refer. It wasn't a referral from a
You had to just
dentist.
go get your own biopsy.
Hmm.
All right, you're on your own.
I'm on my own, no insurance. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was, pretty expensive. Did the biopsy on a Friday. By Monday morning at 8 o'clock, I got a call from KU Med
Yeah.
that said we need to schedule a thing, an appointment, because your biopsy has come back positive for squamous cell carcinoma.
Squamous cell.
That's one of the most deadly and fast growing cancers
Ever.
ever. I mean,
Okay.
it attacks the flat part of your body. So
So was
mouth,
that really the
skin.
sandpaper?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's what
So you
happened.
had it back then. That's the sandpaper.
I'd had it
So
for
if you
four,
got
5 years.
sandpaper feelings in
4
your
years.
mouth,
Hmm.
go to a cancer specialist.
Well, you know, I mean the lesson for me, and the lesson that everyone should see or should learn is that you have to be your own best advocate. I went to so many dentists; they were like, "Nah, we're gonna watch it, and we're gonna watch it." My the tumor that they identified ended up being stage 4.
Okay, so not being a cancer guy. So how many stages are there?
There's 4.
and you're at the worst.
I'm at the worst.
Okay. So from the day it went from sandpaper to cauliflower, it's blooming. It was
Well, yeah,
probably 1 to 4. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Trying
Well,
to give an analogy.
so the tumor was a like a 4.5 centimeter,
Okay.
and they were really on me. You've got to get in. We have got to get this. It was in my jaw. You have got to get in. We've got to get this out. This is serious
Is this
stuff.
therapeutic for you?
What to talk about?
Yeah.
Not really.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just telling
Well,
you
you're
my
brave.
story.
I mean, I think it's nice. You're sharing such a it's an intimate story.
It's pretty well. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm I'm happy to share it because God delivered me from this horrible thing, you know. And the second that I found out,
Sorry to interrupt you.
that's okay. The second that I found out, so for stage 4 usually means it's spread. They did uh, from about my waist up, they did a full CAT scan to see where it had gone to
Right.
because stage 4, that's bad. Um, that means you don't have long on the earth. You know, this was last uh, March, May, the last May.
Of
This was,
24.
yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, my surgical team was like, "Oh my gosh, we've got to get this out." And the minute that happened, I completely stopped doing sugar. Completely stopped. No white sugar at all. Nothing. No desserts, candy, cum, nothing. Bread, nothing. And then I did several protocols that were, kind of people were like, "Oh my gosh, what?" I did ivermectin. I did fenbenzidol. Um, and they have it was kind of the Joe Tippins protocol, and that's all over the internet. And I had met uh, there was a girlfriend of mine that lived across the street from me when I was growing up, and she had found these stem cell patches,
Right.
and I had you know been interested, and I had ordered a box of these patches, and
Like
uh,
like on Amazon? What do you
no,
where?
from her. She
Oh.
was she was a distributor,
Okay.
and she does she this is a company, Lifewave, that is they it is amazing. Um, it's just amazing. Uh, they they have instead of
We
we
you kind of skipped over something,
okay,
I think. And if you
okay.
don't want to talk about it, that's fine.
Well, I can
Talk to me a little bit about the surgery,
well,
if you want to.
yeah, I'd be happy to. So, but I want to set it up.
Okay.
Here's what I did. I did these different protocols, and then I used
Well,
these
so the
stem
stem cells were
cells.
part of this before the surgery?
Yeah, I covered. See, I've even got one on this morning,
Yeah.
and got one down here. So I covered this area in these stem cell patches.
Okay, so you're trying to heal yourself, all right?
I'm trying to do whatever I can do to minimize whatever.
Yeah, why not? You're on your own
Yeah.
up till now
Well,
anyway.
well, you know what? I had so many people pray for me, and it was hard. It was really hard because um, the the surgery. Let me just kind of set this up. The surgery was, you go in. We're going to take your jaw out. It's probably spread to your tongue, and we're going to take part of that out. You may lose your ability to speak, swallow, etc., etc. We're going to put a tracheostomy in. You'll be in the hospital for, 10 to 12 days. Um, your tongue, whatever there is left, will swell up. The jaw on your tongue will swell up the size of a grapefruit. So, and then the way that they were going to rebuild, they were going to either take part of my shin or my wrist and take the bone and the veins from there and create a new jaw, which is what they did.
Where did
Um,
they go? The
they took
shin?
Nope, they took my
Oh wow! Will you hold that up? You mind?
not a bit. I don't mind a bit.
Can you see that?
Let me see.
See, I see a scar on your neck. Is that all part of it too?
Yeah, yeah. They went in this way,
Huh.
and
Wow.
I've got other pictures that we can post in the comments if we
Okay,
need to.
cool.
So anyway,
This is a wild story.
it is wild.
It is.
So they took this from my wrist,
Right?
and then this big square area, they took a piece from my leg
Yeah.
to to create skin here.
Okay.
So
So they grafted.
skin from here
Yeah,
to
yeah,
here.
yeah.
It was pretty darn invasive. And then they said, we're going to be going in through your neck, and it's a pretty, it's about 6 inches from my ear to about here, you know, and they opened up, and then they were doing work stuff inside, getting this, tumor.
How long did that surgery take?
8 hours.
8 hours.
And they said you may have some problems with your shoulder, a drop shoulder, or if we go through your leg, you'll have problems with a drop foot. And I thought,
But like today, you walked in
okay,
here, and I've known you forever. I would have never known that any of this happened.
yeah, well, and I didn't. The foot wasn't the problem; the shoulder was at the time. So anyway, I had to stop with supplements and all this stuff um, prior to the surgery, so I couldn't do anything. You know, the only thing I did were these patches. I just kept on doing them, and because you couldn't take anything prior to surgery, they wanted you to have. They didn't want anything that they were going to administer to interrupt um, their surgery
Okay.
and the administering of drugs or whatever. And I was like, well, I don't want to wake up
Well,
during the middle
so
of this.
you went through. I'm just gonna say, went through all this shit with the dentist. Now,
Yeah.
talk to me about these are oncologists, right? So did you have a whole new feeling about these guys
Well,
being competent?
you know, uh, I was in a daze. The whole thing was so surreal. And it's just like,
No, I can imagine.
why in the world is this happening?
See, to
What?
me, when I'm hearing all this, so I get a mental picture of what it would like to be filleted. You know what I mean? I'm serious. And that's what I'm thinking about. And you're like that for 8 hours while they're, the period of time they're working on it.
Well, and I wasn't even supposed to be able to talk, you know. And I really it was horrible. And I thought, I don't know what I'm supposed to learn from this, but if I go, I go, you know. It has been a great life. I have a wonderful husband and daughter, and we've done some great things. And
So you weren't,
so I went through it.
that's a brave thing to say right there. Because what you're saying is you weren't afraid of death.
Oh no, that's just a part of life. Is
Yeah.
you go, you meet your maker, and you start a new life. Afterwards.
Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, that's exactly right. So I went through it, and I woke up, and my daughter and my husband were on each side of me, and they said, you, mom, and Jalen, honey, and it was amazing. I may start crying.
Go ahead.
It was amazing, you know.
You got a second chance.
Well, I'm obviously supposed to do something big. I don't know. I'm kind of looking, and I kind of have an idea, but
Well, you know what? You have the opportunity now
mhm.
to do something big. I understand the idea that I'm supposed to do something big. I think the day you were born, you're supposed to do something big.
Yeah,
But now you've got the opportunity. You're laser focused.
I am pretty laser focused.
Yeah,
That is true.
I feel it.
So, so I ended up, waking up, and I said, "Hey, I could talk. My tongue was there. I could feel it.
It wasn't a grapefruit.
Wasn't a grapefruit. I mean, it was a little swollen. I
Yeah,
did have
yeah.
some swelling. I still do a little bit, but I didn't have a tracheostomy. I mean, I woke up and it was like a real inconvenience, but it was not this horrible thing that so
So
many
they
people
gave you a
go
worst
through.
case scenario, and it wasn't so bad.
Well, the worst case scenario is usually not as
Oh,
bad as it usually is because
okay.
usually they get in there and they find a lot of stuff. So they took out what was there that they saw that was the squamous cell stuff. They took out my from my ear. This is where the area is
Right.
from here to here, and and then they did whatever, and um, I woke up. You know it was just unbelievable, Henry. I called my mother. I said, "Mom, I'm okay,"
Yeah,
because she was
good.
so worried, and it was the journey healing from that has been a kind of a trip.
No, I've talked to you several times
Hmm.
since then, and I always say, I'm gonna use the healing power that I received on May 2nd, 2015 at 4:44 in the morning to run through your body, and God bless her, and let's just keep going. Amen. You
And
know.
you've done that before.
Yeah, I love it. I love what happened to me on May 2nd, 2015 at 4:44 in the morning. I love it. And
Well, I mean, God delivered me from this thing because they took out
look, at
all of
stage
my.
4,
That's
you were
bad.
walking death.
Yeah, they took out all of my lymph nodes on this side. So from here
I mean, is that
to
fair to
here,
say? Or is
yes,
that too dramatic?
it's pretty dramatic, but it's true. So if it's true, it's true.
Yeah.
I don't think they really expected. Uh, they didn't expect much.
So,
Usually, people, surgeons, this kind of cancer team, you go in, you don't expect much. They're like, oh my gosh, let's do what we can do, but this is pretty
they don't sound
serious.
like they're optimists.
They were not. They were not optimistic at
Hey,
all.
I got the pessimistic team here. Shit. Well,
It was
so what now?
well. They took out all this, this. It was all of this stuff. I went back, and I was not doing these supplements and fenbendazole and all that now. I was just doing the stem cell patches.
Yeah.
And I went back, and the my surgeon didn't see me. It was his PA, and she was just like, "What? You have no swelling." And she looked at my arm and she said, "Wow, that is really healing good. This is really surprising."
Can you point it right at the camera? Like just
Well, I don't know if they can see it.
well, look, there's an indentation there, smaller than a cell phone, but it's there. All right.
I'll, I will put some,
Yeah, yeah.
pictures. So,
Well, so
I went back to the oncologist
and
because it was,
and you're listening to the nurse.
oh, to the PA. She was just like, "Whoa, this is shocking. You know, this is you're really healing well."
So you're giving credit to the stem cell treatment you just came up on your own. That's where this is going.
I
I'm feeling
guess.
that. Yeah.
And well, that's all I was doing. Still, you know. And then I went to the. I just couldn't believe this. I went to the oncologist to they after you go through something like this, they're like, okay, we're going to talk about what the next steps in treatment are, and usually it's chemo with some kind of radiation.
And you didn't have to do any of that.
There was nothing.
And so if there's a stage, are you stage 0?
I'm stage 0. I have no cancer in my body.
Wow.
And what they what they told me at the oncology appointment was that, you've been through what you think is the hardest part, but many times chemo and radiation are worse because you can get radiation poisoning, and sometimes people don't recover from the treatment plan based on their cancer. And what they did is she was reading, and I'd already seen like I had my chart, so I'd already seen they sent all these nodes to see
To
where it had
research.
spread. Yeah, because surely it has spread somewhere because it always does. And it was they took out, I don't know, 70 or 80 lymph nodes. They took out everything. Nothing is left. And
Well, how does
there
that
was
change anything, if at all?
oh well, I mean, lymph nodes are that is what I mean. It doesn't change anything as far as appearance goes, except you can see a few
But what does it do to the mechanics of the body?
lymph nodes are used to
Only know what I know if you know what I mean.
understand, but they that siphons toxins,
Okay.
so it keeps you healthy. It keeps you from having
Okay.
colds and flu and stuff. And you have tons of lymph nodes here underneath your arms,
Sure,
your
sure.
legs, and I mean your body is covered in lymph nodes. So these are really important because these protect your nasal, and it keeps you this area keeps you from flu and colds and all that. Well, there was not one cancer cell in my lymph nodes.
Huh.
So, and they read on and they said the tumor was well defined. They were able to get it all. The tumor had gone from a 4.5 millimeter down 4.5 4.5 to a 2.3 by the time that they operated. 4.5 to a 2.3.
So you got it. You healed yourself.
No, God healed myself.
Okay, I'll give it to God.
I mean, and the prayers from
But why can't you take a little credit?
well, it was the protocols and these patches that the stem cell patches. It's unbelievable. I can't even imagine. And I had all sorts of follow-ups with the doctors, and even now, they're like, well, it's been 6 months, maybe 8 months, and they're just like, you are so far ahead of where you're supposed to be. It's just unbelievable. So, all that to say, here I am. This is what I'm supposed to look like at about 18 months, and I am there now. I I just can't believe it. So
Sorry about that. Turn that down.
sure,
Okay, I got an interesting question, but what I want to ask you
sure.
is there a ribbon you can tie on where we are right now, or can we put a comma where we are? Because this is what I want to ask you is now what do we do? What do you do? What's
Well,
let's say God left you here
mhm.
to do something great, right? And is it just to be you, or is there?
Well, I mean, we've got some plans in the works and all that I can't talk about right
Well,
now.
no. Let's just.
But
I mean, not business wise.
well, I think
I
that
mean, because see, I think this is big personally
well, I think
about you talking about this.
well, it is. It's huge. I think I am supposed to tell people about the stem cell situation.
Right, we're doing it. It's a
And
start.
I one of the things that happened, Henry, is that whenever I got home, I had the worst case of drop shoulder. It was frozen. And it's because they opened
After
up.
the surgery,
Oh, it was horrible. And they were like, "Oh, well, we can go back in and fix that." I was
and
just
it
like,
it
"Oh,
healed it on its own. Did you put stem cells on it?
I here,
Patches?
yeah, patches here and here every day. Went to therapy. I couldn't lift my arm. It was horrible.
What do the patches do?
They are we're made of infrared light. Our bodies are. You can put on these night goggles and you can see people, like they,
Yeah, I don't need the goggles, but go ahead.
right. But I mean, and what they do is they reflect light back into your body. And when they do that, it turns on the dormant stem cells. And the stem cells go crazy.
Well, what I'm reading now is that um, at 60, you got to start figuring out how to replenish your stem cells.
And you
That,
do that when you
that
do.
this is all coming just due to our conversation showing up
Well,
in my newsfeed.
let me tell you,
I'm serious.
you know, uh, if you do stem cell replacement, you're looking at a $5,000 to $10,000 price tag, and you don't know. And it's a one-time, infusion. Sometimes it's a several. If you my mother had really bad back problems, and she tried stem cell therapy where they inject her,
Hey,
and
what can I get for $500?
well, not much if you inject it. But this is not injected. I
Well,
mean, these you place on, different areas of your body, and it activates and goes to the areas that are problem areas. I went through therapy, could not lift my arm, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try doing a stem cell, patch, and it just, I mean, I'm completely healed,
you know,
completely healed.
I literally beat the shit out of my body being a gymnast. And, my legs wake up later than the rest of me.
We need to fix that.
Yeah.
Well, and then I have a patch here, and this is where all of these lymph nodes were. And I have a patch here
So
where
do you
the
think
lymph
I
nodes
could put
are.
a patch on my legs and they're going to start being,
You
they're
have
going to work better?
you have no idea how
Well, we're going to
incredible.
do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll
I'll
hook you
buy the
up.
patches.
I'll hook you up. They're cheap. They were like $3 a
Hey, now
patch.
this is in my budget.
Well, so
Hey, let's start selling the stem cells here and we'll make a commission.
I think we should.
I think we
So
should.
let me tell you about these here. I had sniffles one time this year. I mean, and that was like a little small cold that lasted about, I don't know, half a day. That's it. That is it. I should be sick because I have no lymph nodes. I have a stem cell here.
Do you take vitamin D3?
Yes, I do.
A lot of it?
Just one. Yeah, just a like whatever's
Okay,
recommended.
you can't overdose on vitamin D3. You can't. So this is one of the things Dr. Gundry says. And Dr. Gundry says sunlight's better than the D3. Everything in moderation, even moderation.
Uh-huh.
But I've become a disciple of Gundry. And what I like about Gundry was he evolves he's continuing to study. So he's a heart surgeon that and he's like an innovator in heart surgery.
Hmm.
And he's done like infant child, you know, transplants, and he's
Uh-huh.
done all this stuff. Well, and here he is, this famous, world famous heart surgeon,
Hmm.
and he feels like shit.
We need to hook him up. RFK is a big user of these stem cell patches.
I like that guy.
You know
You
what?
know why I like that guy?
He's great.
Well, because, well, number one, he's all about against the processed foods and
Uh-huh.
all this stuff. But number one, I love him because he was rejected by the Democrats,
Mhm.
and Donald J. Trump accepted him.
Well, and I like to say he was rejected by the liberal parties,
Okay.
and the conservative party tends to be a little more accepting of you know really good, true information. That's what I have
We've
seen.
got to make it to where it's not a sin to talk about politics or religion. We got
Right. Or healthcare.
or healthcare.
Because so many people are, you know, I have
There's
so
so
many
many
friends.
people that just want to reject Western medicine.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Anything
so,
besides what, I mean, my doctor, my dental team here is a prime example.
oh yeah,
I rejected what they said, which was watch it, because if I had watched it, I'd be in the ground right now. Well, maybe
yeah.
not right now, but it would be so
Hey,
much worse.
what? You're gonna watch me die?
It could have been that bad. It really could have. So what these patches do is um, they wake up your stem cells and they create in that a copper peptide that goes to where the inflammation is and where the problem is, and then the stem cells go to work. It's unbelievable.
Okay,
And
well I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a guinea pig, or
yeah.
I'm gonna be a laboratory rat. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be a living. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
But so from gymnastics, you
I
know,
didn't realize that you were a big gymnast.
well, I wasn't. I was only 4'11" and a half. But when
You are
you're
a
a
funny
kid,
thing.
athletics is such a thing. You know what I mean?
You know, Henry, I was at Rotary Club when you came in turning your cartwheels. Do you remember that
Yeah,
day?
I used to love Rotary.
Yeah.
You know, I had a real Anita Woolgast
Hmm.
uh, made my, so I got Henry's always getting a special deal, right? When my mom got sick, or well, when I got divorced, I had to close my office downtown when I used to be able to walk to downtown Rotary.
Hmm.
And I used to be on the board of downtown Rotary. And I like Rotary as a concept. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
the good guy club, it's a good person's club. And so they said, well, uh, keep doing the golf tournament,
Hmm.
and you can be like a senior member and just pay for your meals. And we're fine. I mean, I had perfect attendance. I was on the board. I loved Rotary. And so then Anita gets the presidency, and she says, "Well, I'm revoking your deal, and also I'm going to bill you back for all the meals." And I used to say that in the board meeting. I go, "You can't. Part of the business plan can't be that you profit off the meals that people don't come eat, because
Hmm.
we had like let's say we had 250 people in the club, and 111 used to come to the meals. So they're making the profit to run the club on the rest. And
Hmm.
anyway,
Kind of a bad business plan.
well, and then here's the thing about it. Then they had the venture club. Remember that, to where you could just join, pay the dues, and you paid for the meals whenever you want. And I go, well, just switch me over to the venture club deal. And
No, she
no,
wouldn't let you do
no.
that.
So I
So,
resigned.
well, I understand that.
Then I got invited to be with Rotary again,
Uh,
and two of the board members came over here, Vince Fry and another fella, the guy that's the Capper Foundation. I saw him yesterday, and they go, "Well, we think that your views don't really match Rotary, the things you think, say, and do, because of I'm poignant with my point of views."
uh,
And so I made him vote me on, and then I didn't join.
you just make it a point, weren't you?
I want to be able to say what I want.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's two genders now.
Hmm.
There always has been. I'm glad. You know what? I think the most important thing that he's done today is taking away the security clearance of the people that lied about the laptop. Because lying is the beginning of the end. if
Mhm.
you can't tell the truth. You may not like what I say, but it's the truth as I know it.
Mhm.
It's the best I can. I'm always asking the viewers to say, "Hey, um, if I'm not right, tell me."
Mhm. You know, a lot of people have.
Do you know? Hang on a second. I'm sorry. I
No,
always interrupt people. Ask
that's
Tyler.
okay.
Um, do you know that right now, if you annualize my Facebook views on this channel right here,
Mhm.
I'm like at about 1,000,005 views.
That's great.
And so what we'll do with this, I've got a guy, MD in Bangladesh. MD will he'll download this video
Uh-huh.
and he'll put graphics on it and put the search engine optimization and you've got to have stem cell stuff in the hashtags. So he'll do all this stem cell or he'll do all the optimization. So when you go to the search engine, will pop up if you Googled stem cells,
That's
and
great.
then he'll load it to my YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel is growing exponentially as far as subscribers, but the views and the views have just blown up since I hired MD, and the watch time is a lot different than Facebook.
Uh-huh.
The people you
They
get on,
want to. They want to see. They want to
they'll
watch.
they got time. They
People
don't
on
have time
Facebook.
here.
Yeah, people on Facebook just scroll by.
Yeah,
15, 10, 15 minutes, and they're done.
seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the attention span.
Mhm.
It's like I tell people, look, I'm the salesman. I got to get it done in the elevator.
Mhm.
So if I've got the plan and I believe in it, I can sell it in the elevator, and then I'll give you the plan.
Yeah.
So this is the beginning of you telling people. And Mace Siegel, the guy I used to work for in the mall business,
Mhm.
he wanted me to help people overcome alcoholism,
Uh-huh.
which I try. I'll talk about my alcoholism anytime because, especially being in politics, well, they just want to talk about drunk Henry. You know, they got the establishment has to find a reason to not. Well, this guy wants too much change, and
Let me tell you something, Henry. The drunk Henry was not nearly as effective as the sober Henry. You
I love
running,
drunk Henry. He was a good guy.
he's fun guy. But the sober Henry, you have such, you have brought to light such amazing question marks that need to be answered. And you've been pretty brave about putting it out there. And I appreciate that as a voter and as a taxpayer. And I'm sure that other people do too. And we need this information. And I appreciate
Well, so when it comes to trying to help people,
that. Hmm.
this is just about the best I can do because. So as you told your story today, I almost I'd heard it before,
Hmm.
and I was almost like, but I stopped and listened. But I feel the pain. I understand sandpaper and cauliflower. I get it. And then I understand being filleted. I don't understand the patches. I don't, but I want to learn about that.
I want to be able to come back and talk to you about that. Maybe not so long, maybe a quicker, more focused conversation.
Well,
Um,
it's okay. Let's see. Do we got in? We got somebody's viewing right now, but
Probably my husband.
it's all about YouTube. Maybe. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Angus. What a name!
Yeah. Goes
Did,
with the kilt.
did you ever see the movie Highlander?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta love that.
Yeah. He could have been the
Angus
star.
Angus goes Angus says um the first time I went to battle I peed my kilt. And then Angus saves the Highlander.
He does.
Gets him out. Hey, so who's that? What's that say over there? Can you? I can't read that.
One comment.
Who is it?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
see it?
How do we find? How do we
See on the
find them?
very right-hand corner in the bottom.
Oh, it's Angus. Hey.
Oh, hello, Angus. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That was a lot.
That's a lot. And I think it's good therapy. It's like when I come on here and rant, and I mean, just after I talk, I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's more that really needs to come out. But this is coming from a guy that's was born and raised here.
Were you?
Yeah, and um, my dad was Oscar Stauffer's attorney. My dad had PTSD
Did he?
from being a Army Air Corps guy. He trained to drop the atom bomb. 5 crews of 5. He was a navigator. His dad was a judge who integrated the schools, Judge James A. McClure.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad was a Yankee chaplain who was discharged here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And he was the 3rd guy at the First Presbyterian Church.
Mm.
So I've got a lot of history here.
Yes, you do.
When I was born, Gage Boulevard down there, that was a dirt road.
Is that right? You remember that?
No, I was told that. But, I mean, it's like you want to do a traffic study? That's the biggest waste of money in this town, is having a traffic study done for commercial projects. You're wasting developers' money. You know why they do that? Because they don't have to pay for it. But what are you going to glean out of it? You're not going to learn anything. If Gage Boulevard was a dirt road when I was born, look how big the network is now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you want commercial zoning there or not? Because if you don't want it, don't just say no, and we won't put a convenience store there.
Mm-hmm.
But $15,000 later isn't going to make you feel better about having a convenience store.
Mm-hmm.
What about common sense?
Yeah.
All right, what else?
Well, we need to get
Okay,
you,
where
we
do
need
I
to get
buy
this-
those patches?
I can hook you up. We need to get you. We need to get you as our guinea pig, and let's see.
So what happened was basketball courts actually have springs underneath them. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yes. So a basketball court is actually resilient. And so actually, if you know what kind of basketball court it is,
Mm-hmm.
you can there's different kind of bounces off of it.
Huh.
They're built differently.
I had no idea. My daughter is an assistant volleyball coach in Kansas City at a university, and I had no idea, because I'm sure that helps their teams.
Well, yeah. So basketball courts have a little give, right? Because there's spring floors underneath them, and so you used to put the wrestling mats in a 40 by 40, and you'd be fine. Well, what they did to us, they did the gymnasts we all got special treatment because we were the best. And I was a state champion my sophomore year, but I got to come up my 9th grade year and compete with the
big boys.
Yeah, it was
the high
fun.
Schoolers. That's neat.
Yeah, my ego. So they moved us up our junior year to the mezzanine, and it's concrete. Well, I tumbled so hard, I got my shin splints actually tore.
Have they ever,
No, because the doctor poked his finger in them. Look, so they're symmetrical.
Oh,
see them?
Yeah.
So they're right there. So the shin splint tore, and the doctor said, "Look, it's going to hurt more sewing those things up, and they'll probably just tear again. Those are hernias."
What'd you do? Did you just wrap them or what?
No, nothing. He said, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
Henry, that's
But they don't
terrible.
hurt.
Well, they don't hurt now.
No, they never hurt. It was just like, hey, what's the deal with this? Well, those are hernias. You tore your shin splints,
Mm-hmm.
tore because of the lack of give from the cement floor to the spring floor.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah.
So later on, they came out with a spring floor for tumbling.
Gymnasts.
Yeah. And I could do a double back later on because I had so much, the spring just made it so simple.
Mm-hmm.
But I would rotate back in the day on the gym floor, I could rotate a backflip about a foot over my head.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was fun. So state champion my sophomore and junior year, and then I kind of fizzled out my senior year of helping coach, and I think I'm a bad coach. No, really, I think I am. So my legs, and then I got into distance running because you can get that runner's high, and I'm always looking to get a buzz, right? So runner's high is cool, it's natural, and but I've been over, my legs have taken a lot of brunt of the pain, and but I want to. I was telling Dana K. Anderson, my buddy, he's done very well in his life. I said, with your money, you ought to live another 35 years. So I've been giving him Dr. Gundry's books.
Uh-huh.
And you ought to start off reading The Plant Paradox.
Uh-huh.
It was his first book, and it's really sophomoric almost compared to Gut Check, his next one, the final one. But he's all about the health. And I'm going to see if Gundry's got something on stem cells. But did you know that fasting for like 4 days can actually your body starts, you put your body in some sort of stress mode and it helps with stem cells.
It does. It does. In
I've
fact,
never, I can't fast for 4 days.
You'd be surprised. I fasted for 3 before my surgery. Completely. Just water.
Yeah.
And these things. And look at that. They come in a packet that's about like this. So, anyway.
All right. So I'll do it.
Okay. When we gonna start?
Now.
Okay. I need to go get them.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean. Just as soon as it fits in.
All right. That sounds good.
So tell me what we're going to do and how we're going to go about it.
Well, so the master cell or the master patch, it's about the size of a quarter.
Okay.
Right? Let me see. Here's this. About the size of a quarter.
Angus, I didn't see anything about the patch.
So, anyway, about the size of a quarter.
Okay.
You wear it for about 11 to 12 hours a day.
Okay.
And during the day, because that's when you're up and around, that's when you're drinking water, and then your body has an opportunity to sleep and have cellular repair. And the next morning you start again. So one patch over different areas.
So we're going to put it on my legs or just my body?
Well, we can start because this is a technology that really wakes up your stem cells.
So it sounds, you reach behind your neck. Is that where I'm going to put it?
To start with.
Like, so it goes down my spine?
No, it's gonna activate. This is a pressure point.
Okay.
That is going to activate cells that are going to go to where your body needs, your legs. And then once your body is used to this, and you're going to see, I think you're going to see a pretty immediate. Do you have pain in your legs?
Well, to be in the real estate business and also to live in Topeka, you have to be a masochist.
Yeah.
So I'm used to pain. Just think about how painful it is to go to city council and try to make a point. I mean, think about how painful it is to go to the county commission and try,
You are a masochist.
that is not funny. It's true, but yeah, you do. And May Siegel used to say that. My mentor,
Mhm.
Dana K. Anderson's partner. He said to be in the real estate business, you have to have a long memory, and probably you have to be a masochist. But I tell you, I can't. To me, it's heartbreaking to go to AA meetings because I absorb the pain of the people. And it's like when I'm in meetings with people, I'll just tell the truth here. I feel energy.
Mhm.
I literally can feel the energy of the people. But that's what makes you a good salesman.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a meeting and I'm talking and I'm feeling the energy of the room, I know how to switch it up. You know, anything else?
Well, I appreciate
Hey, if I
you.
ran for mayor, would you vote for me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd help you get there.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but I think we need to have somebody. It's a Jetto vote, and but I want to. I just want to outlive the evil. You know what I mean? I think that with Trump in the office, I think that people will wake up and see change.
Mhm.
He's not perfect. We got to quit picking on it. You know, because the guy did this doesn't make him a Nazi.
Yeah.
Elon Musk. I mean, come on.
He
This
was
is
just saying, "You got my heart, man."
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
And you know what? Elon Musk is he's got a little bit of uh oh, what word am I looking for?
Asperger's.
Yes. You know what? He does weird stuff that's inappropriate. And although I don't think that was he didn't do that to signal some kind of a Nazi wave, but he's got
But we
Asperger's and
got
he
to
does
quit
stuff.
looking for shit like that. We've got to stop it.
Yeah,
We really do.
absolutely.
Well,
Well,
what I will tell you one last thing is to me Donald Trump's not the end all. He had a good start and he took his start and he did what he did. He and his dad didn't always get along.
true.
They went different ways.
And he has not always been a stand up developer either. You know,
But the bankruptcy of the casino until you change the bankruptcy laws,
yes.
don't blame him.
Mm,
And maybe he couldn't be in that business because it just wasn't the right business for him.
true. Yeah.
And uh,
But I think he
but
is
we're
an
no.
exceptional leader. And and
But look, he
he
surrounded himself with good people.
yes. And you know what? I am so thankful that this term he has not met with one problem after another from conservatives. I mean, Mike Pompeo. Oh my gosh.
What?
What a squirrel.
So
I
I don't
mean,
think you'll be voting for him for governor of Kansas, huh?
my gosh. Well, I mean, he put out a hit on, Julian Assange. I mean, for what? I mean, he has been so disappointing. And, Pence, please.
But Trump was a bigger man to invite Pence. His wife didn't show up. Did you see that at the
I
inauguration?
inauguration, I didn't see
Yeah, I
that.
couldn't get enough of it. It was like I can't get anything done.
Yeah, it was good.
But I
I
like the
didn't see it.
change.
Hmm.
And think of the Mrs. Trump. What a beautiful woman.
Hmm.
She can speak multiple languages.
Hmm.
She raised Barron.
Oh, he's you know, talk about a new generation of leaders. You look at him and you say, you know what? I see a new generation of leadership. The same with my daughter. I look at her and I think, gosh, she is going to carry the flag. And that is what we need. And she's very interested in something uh, that
What does she want to do?
well, she wants to be a music therapist. Meanwhile, she's an assistant volleyball coach, and she is an assistant
Well, wait a minute. Let's talk
sales.
about this music therapy.
Uh-huh.
Because I always say, wouldn't it be cool to like have enough money that you could have a guy with a boombox follow you, and then you
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I need some theme music." You know. But tell me about that.
I'm not sure. I mean, this is an emerging field that is really taken off, and the the patient, the people, the clients seem to be people who are in hospice or special needs. I'm not really sure, but
Well,
music therapy is a big thing.
one of my favorite classes at KU was music history.
Really?
Yeah, so we went from 1900 to modern day at the time, 77,
Uh,
and so he'd play uh, music of the era and then
uh,
talk about that time, and it really brought history to life.
hmm.
You know, Billie Holiday was the first one to have her voice deemed an instrument.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
And
great.
Marshall, he's even though he's fizzled out on doing the Topeka Factor, we've got a website called Kiwi.rocks, and he was a you know Marshall Barber.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so
Where is he? What
I don't know, like he's turned into, I don't know if
a hermit? He's
I don't know.
tired. Snow wants to stay in. I don't know.
He's busy. He's got a lot of stuff cooking, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I bought a domain called Kiwi.rocks, and I think that we could do a music show on Instagram. And I don't know why Meta owns both,
Yeah.
but like or even on TikTok.
Uh huh.
TikTok doesn't ban music. Oh, I got a warning on one of my videos on TikTok. I didn't think they did anything.
Oh, they do.
But it was like I was describing Topeka like the Matrix. You know, people are still, we need to unplug more people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look at myself as Neo, the one.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more of a Morpheus, trying to get people to unplug
Uh-huh.
to see the 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 lies that are the shadow of Topeka, that we have too many non-elected officials. And if I'm getting too political, you can just shut me up.
No, no,
But we've got too many non-elected officials spending our money. Anyway,
that's you make a really significant point.
well, the one thing Susan Duffy said, she goes, "You probably pulled a thread on Lawrence Bay." And deep down,
Well, you
can I tell
did
you,
more than pull a thread.
and deep down, it's not about getting Jim Klossman. You know what I mean? The thing is, they don't know how to make a deal with the guy. He's a deal maker.
Yeah.
You just got to sit down and make a deal with him. I told him that if I'm elected, you know, because I don't like what Rich Eckert and the county commissioners are doing about all the, we should have every property that doesn't owe taxes on the auction block.
Every property
That
that is delinquent in
Yes.
paying taxes.
Yeah.
You just got through saying every property that doesn't owe taxes.
Oh, well, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Every delinquent guy should have his property auctioned.
Right. I agree. As a property owner,
But we've got
treat everyone the same.
far too many people in this town that don't pay taxes because of not for profit, and I don't like that. We started a not for profit called Agape Village, and we're going to pay real estate taxes. If we own it, we got to pay our way. You got to pay your way.
Yeah.
But look, I told Spencer the other day, he was sitting here. I go, you've got a plan C on this thing. Plan C is to foreclose on all the specials. The city can foreclose on the specials that aren't being paid. The county does the property taxes. Well, go ahead and foreclose on those.
What do you say to that?
Well, it was like a light bulb. I can see when the light bulb went on. I've known that kid since
He was in high
2000.
school. Oh.
his mom and I were on the church youth group
Oh, is
at
that
St.
right?
David's. Yeah. And then, Tuck, he
Mm-hmm.
sings so loud at church that, he wants everybody to know he's there.
He's a neat guy.
No, Tuck's an interesting dude. He's handling the lawsuit of revenue neutral where the county guys didn't run the meeting appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
That Ken Corbett, thank you, Ken, sued the county.
Talk about a brave guy.
Ken Corbett,
Good for him.
hell, he had to sue everybody just to get his hunting lodge out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we fight ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We do. We fight.
And for what? Control.
Yeah, I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. It's just not worth it to do business in Topeka. It really is. It's not worth it.
Well, okay.
Well, I'm not running. And that's the thing about it. If I just put my nose into the books and
Mm-hmm.
just did my own thing, I can make a living here.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't get me. But we got to unplug people. We're not going to ever change just by supporting the oligarchs. And that's what I told Spencer. I go, a guy like me doesn't have to have one nickel. I don't. I just have to put everybody together that's got the nickels.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nail soup. Have you ever heard that fable?
No.
Oh, the guy. Yeah.
You mean stone soup?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
But it was a nail. I heard it as a nail.
Okay.
And that's what a developer is. And that's what Trump's presidency is going to be. Nail soup.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to bring in all these people and they're going to make it. And that's what I love about RFK,
Mm-hmm.
Bobby. Oh, man, I got a picture. I'll show it to you after the show where he got arrested for pot.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I used to smoke a lot of weed. But
I think everyone did.
yeah, why not? But so when it comes down to government and responsibility, they don't understand the sandpaper or the cauliflower. They don't get it. They don't understand the root cause of problems because they haven't been in business. So many of them haven't been in business. And Howard Paul is always telling me, he goes, well, how does government grow? Why should government grow? The community's not growing.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just don't spend money like it's ours. And that's the problem. Government doesn't have a budget, or like what?
They have a budget.
Well, no, but
they don't have a system of accountability.
Yes. Well, what was the coolest thing that Spencer said the other day was the city manager just wanted to raise sales tax to pay the deficit. And Spencer's saying, well, look, why don't you figure out what we can do with what we got?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll look around. And ran into Neil Dobler yesterday. And I said, hey, because Spencer actually got on his public comments and said nice things. I didn't agree with everything that he said, Henry said, but at least it was having a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what was important about today is you got to fight for yourself for the sandpaper and the cauliflower problems. Because if you don't take care of yourself, have you ever heard the story about the flood and the guy comes by in a boat? He says, here, hop on. The guy's on the roof of his house. He goes, God will provide. You've heard that one?
I have.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting washed away.
Yeah, he goes, well, I sent you a boat, a helicopter, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta. So I'm amazed about your battle. It's an amazing story.
Well, you know what? The big takeaway for me is that, you have to be willing to advocate for yourself
Right.
and say, wait a minute, it's just, and I mean, if you take that and you put my situation, I mean, everyone is facing situations like this. They just have a different, maybe it's heart, maybe it's, something else, something that has to do with something.
I like that word heart.
I do too.
Yeah, you got to have heart.
That's true. But like my mom and dad, my mother has horrible back injuries, not horrible back
Pain.
problems. I mean, when she stands up, she looks like a candy king. She is so stiff.
Scoliosis.
Well, I'm not sure what has happened, but she's had back surgeries in her little spine. She's 90. Oh, her
What about
spine is
calcium?
just,
Did she substitute calcium?
oh, she's done it for years.
Is
And
she taking the stem cells?
she won't do this
Why?
because she had that stem cell treatment and it failed, and she's, I think, on some level she doesn't think it's going to
I
work.
mean the $5,000 or $10,000 one?
Hmm. They spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of their retirement to try to get that. Well, I mean, it was, her situation was too chronic, and she needed too many treatments, and they couldn't do it. And they did. This was 15 years ago, and they didn't understand.
So what's the name of the product that I'm going to be taking?
LifeWave X39 is the patch that we're going to
LifeWave
get you on.
LifeWave X39
Stem cell patch.
stem cell patch.
It's amazing.
Now, could we do another show sometime where
Yeah.
your friend calls in?
Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
tell me about your friend, real quick.
Well, now which
How you doing
one?
on time?
I'm doing okay. How long have we been
I don't
going?
know. I live a timeless life.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me. How we doing on time?
We're doing okay.
Okay. So the friend that sells the stem cell patches.
Let me tell you what she did. So yeah,
What's her name?
her name is Janelle.
Janelle.
However, when she signed me up for this, she signed me up to be a wholesale distributor.
Okay, what's
So
wrong with that?
nothing. So what I have done,
We've cut her out of the deal.
we've cut her out of the
She's
deal.
out.
Well, but I mean, she is the person that introduced
Well, so
me.
let's sell your product here. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we selling it to anybody now? Do you have
We
any other
are.
customers?
Oh yeah.
Talk
Yeah.
about your sales.
Well, I mean, I
Hey, now this is something I can get into.
you know what? I don't want to, since it is private. I don't want. I mean, I can tell you that
What's
I've got
private? The sales?
the sales. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've got about 10 people.
You'll find out the longer you know me, I'll ask anybody anything.
I understand, and that's okay.
Yeah, so fine. That's none of
But
my business.
I've got about 10 people that, um, that came to me and said, Janlin, tell me about these patches that you're doing. Oh, Janlin, your shoulder, I can't believe. I mean,
So you have 10 customers now?
well,
or
yeah,
more?
I mean, and I'm not even talking about this. They just know me. They know the journey.
Well, now we're talking about it.
Well, now we are.
So can you get online and buy them?
Well, I can.
Why
set
don't
you
I
up
make
and-
you a website?
Well, you can do that. You can absolutely do that. But
But what?
I mean, we can get you set up to buy wholesale, and then people can.
Well, you can sell them to me
talk to-
retail.
No, we don't want to do that.
All right. Well, listen. So I've got a web department,
Okay.
and the sales go right into your bank account.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and it takes. I even can set that up. It takes
Okay.
5 minutes. So did I ever tell you about the internet business?
You did.
Yeah. So I own for $117. I've got 100 domains.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And so it takes a place to park them.
Hmm.
Now, every time I activate one of them, the fees start growing, but they're modest. So it's very cheap to make. I could do the websites myself personally, but I got a guy to do it.
That's good. That's great. This way it frees up you and your
Well,
time.
yeah, because I like this part of it. I need to make sales.
Uh-huh.
These are my deals that I've got in process. And actually, so if you go over here, there's, I'm making that sign. Look at that.
Shame on you.
Elon, I know how you feel, buddy. They're coming after me. So if you take the names over there,
Uh-huh.
that could be 3 or 4 deals. Those are all the deals. And I really, I put my real estate license aside. In fact, Doug Bassett told me to never bring this up again. But I did. Uh, all my clients knew what I was doing, and they wanted me to get elected because they wanted me to make change. And I was going to give up my license completely if elected. But I'll never give up my license again. But imagine Henry McClure live in City Hall doing live videos about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I loved about Spencer here the other day. At least we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, if we did it right, you'd have all the committees. You could go to the committees and talk because the committees approve them.
But they are open. They just don't post the meetings.
No, you can get every meeting, but I tried to talk one day and got shouted down.
Really?
Yeah, but they should just make it policy that you at the committee meetings you can talk, and it shouldn't be 4 minutes. I don't mind 4 minutes one bit at the council meeting or over at the county. I was just wondering when they were going to cut me off over at the county.
You did talk a long time.
Yeah, I know.
There, a lot. And that's why they put that.
That's okay.
In.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But having the conversation is what's important.
That's true. So David Schmidt, this guy, let me just give you some stuff to get you.
Who's David? Who's this David Schmidt?
David Schmidt is the one that created LifeWave.
Okay, where's he live?
He's in he is in hold on just a second, let me get this information. Hold on just a second. He is in Utah, Salt Lake City. He created it in 2004. He's been in business that long. It pretty much plateaued at 20 million a year
in sales.
In sales, which is not a lot, it's an okay business value, and they were open in Europe, really thriving first because there were such hoops that they had to jump through here. Then in 2018, he introduced the X39 patch. The X39
and that's
patch,
what we're using today.
Yes. And the reason it's X39 is it took him 39 tries to get this thing right.
In 20 what?
2018.
2018.
Couldn't get it introduced here. They did in Europe. I mean, all the athletes, Harrison Butker wears this. I mean, it's unbelievable. So,
I'm really excited about this.
From 2019, the company has grown from 20 million to 600 million.
Wow.
And that's a 3,000% growth rate. This is from 19.
I think what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to sell the stuff.
Well, and so let me tell you, they are introducing water that has stem cells in the water.
I want to drink that.
Structured water. And they are projecting that the company in 2025, and this is probably a modest projection, that it's going to go to about a billion. So, I mean, the company has gone from just a little mom and pop to something that's huge. when you go from 20 million, which is, you know, a fairly small budget in business terms, to 600, and then to a billion in, you know 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 years. That is unbelievable.
You're, you know, you're answering your own question right here on the show of what you're supposed to do.
Well, I just want to share.
Yeah, but
I
what?
just want to share what I mean. So yeah, if you wanted to do a business,
Why
there
not?
is a great opportunity here to do a business. But my deal is, I want people to know that you don't have to spend $3,000 to $10,000 on stem cells.
You're living proof that it works.
Oh my
What
gosh,
a better testimonial.
it's unbelievable.
My testimonial is about the higher power and God, because if you know how much I drank and now to never have the desire to want to drink again, that's the miracle.
Well, I want to tell you something. I believe in part that God healed me through these stem cells and continues to do so.
Yeah.
It's
Well, and I
just
got healed.
unbelievable. Yes, you
I did. I was healed. I was cured, and thank God. Amen.
Thank God. Amen.
All right.
Good place to stop.
We're going to segue to a goodbye, but I want to thank you for being on the show. I hope you felt comfortable.
I want to thank you for, the invitation.
Yeah. So we've got more to do. This was just the start, but thank you for tuning in. And if nobody's told you they love you today, I love you.
I love you too.
Henry McClure live in the Glass Houses studio, which is part of the Ryan Mowinkle empire of commercial real estate, where I've got 1,084 feet available, and I'll even paint it the colors you want. I love you guys. Thanks.